Lisa. Good morning, Dr. Trey. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Appreciate you joining me this morning. Beautiful Saturday morning. Good day to be alive and well, and we're healthy. A lot of things to be grateful and thankful for this morning. Good morning, Shelley. Good morning. Let's see, Dr. Trey. One second. I'm going to bring Dr. Trey in. Come in. There he is. Good morning, Dr. Trey.
We live.
We are live, yes. One of the things to be grateful for today, that we are alive, we're well, healthy, we're breathing on our own. We don't need any respirator to help us breathe this morning. A lot of things to be grateful and thankful for.
I love it.
Yes,
Love it.
Yes. So we just had a heavy conversation. I'm sorry. Say that again.
No. I was just asking how you've been. During this time, and
I know, a lot of changes. Yes.
A lot of changes. Corona
has us, all of our lives turned in a whole different direction. Something that I never thought would happen. Working from home on a permanent, not permanent, but it seems like a permanent basis because we don't know when we're going back. So the corona has turned a lot of our lives upside down, some for the better and some not so good. So it's unfortunate that a lot of people are, losing people during this time. It's so sad. Someone that I know, my son's, one of his best friend's wives passed away. She had cancer and she also suffered from MS, and she passed away a couple of weeks ago. And there was no funeral service for her. So it's just so different now how the world has changed, and so her celebration of life is held off until August. And so just to see how, difficult, things that people are going through, losing loved ones and not able to celebrate their lives immediately. You have to wait until a certain, another extended period of time to celebrate their lives. So it's just changed a whole lot of people, a whole lot of things, a whole lot of lives. So, but anyway, good morning, everybody. It's going to be a great conversation. I want to talk about that too long because it's so sad, for a young lady like that's 41 years old to pass away. And it's it's very hurtful and painful, but everybody's getting through it. Good morning, Marshall. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. So everybody out there, we thank you for joining us. It's going to be a great conversation. So Dr. Trey, we want to get started again. This crisis of corona, again, as we said at the top, has changed a lot of things. Some people are in a lot of discomfort, losing jobs. The economy is changing. So we're just going to get through a lot of conversation on this coronavirus and things that we could be doing to make ourselves better, make our lives better now, and then even when things go back, maybe not to normal, but go back to our jobs, go back to living, the way that we thought we were living before, and just some things that we want to talk about, what we can do to make our lives better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to you, Dr. Trey.
I just appreciate, just being here, and I thank everyone tuning in, and SUSIETV. People have missed, just you coming out, just, giving the hardcore facts. One thing that I say about these times is that this is not new to us. We've had similar times like this, in the past. And, what's happening, to society right now is that, people don't like change. And change can happen in a multitude of ways. You can get fired from your job. That's change. You get, have a new child come into your life. That's change. And sometimes people are just a little antsy because change, it takes us away from our norm. You know what I mean? And one thing I've always learned is that, change is not good or bad. Change is necessary. And the more we understand that, is that this is just a period of change that we have to get through together. Even though that, we're mastering, this, our social distance, which is very important until, they come up with a better understanding of what the coronavirus and how it affects people and how it's transmitted and all these other things. We just have to play the rules. So the rules of our lives have just changed. You know what I mean? And you come into this, trying to continue with your normal day to day. It's not going to work right now. So and what we need right now, we need some great leaders. And I'm just talking about our community leaders, here. I'm not talking about on the national basis. I'm talking about the people that we are in contact with day to day, kind of like what we're doing. We're giving people still an outlet, you know what I mean? An outlet to be active, an outlet to release stress. And that is, I think that is the major component of what's going on. People are, on social media, you're getting stressed from there. You're getting stressed if you look into the news. You're getting stressed from there. YouTube, you know what I mean? All these different things are bombarding us. And sometimes we have to remove ourselves from that stress because now you're not sleeping well. And then, and when stress happens, what's the next thing you happen? Then you're not eating well. And then what are we doing? We become stagnant creatures, and we are creatures of movement. And that doesn't mean you gotta, go out and be with a whole bunch of people. You need to have movement in your life right now so your body can naturally get through this. You can get through this if you release the stress. And we just talked about the chemical stress, the physical stress, and the mental stress. This is what you're in control of. Everything else with them changing the rules of how we live our lives, we are not in control of that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, with those levels of changes because I hate to say this, they're learning too. This is something that, they're learning at the same time, and they're trying to give us the best information that they can. So you have to be in control of what, you have 100% control of. What you eat, how you exercise, how you move, and what you consume. That may be the biggest one is what we consume right now because, again, you're getting things from here, you're getting things from here, you're getting things from here. I mean, it's coming at us at all angles, and it's hard. It's hard to decipher of what's true. So sometimes we have to remove ourselves from some of those stressors that we're not in control of and say, look, I'm going to master what I am in control of. And you have full control of that. No one else does. I don't, some people have kids, you know what I mean? You have to make sure that they have balance in their lives as well. That's very important right now because adults aren't handling this right. How do you think kids are going to handle this? They've been removed from school. They can't go out and play with their friends. They're spending more time, indoors. I wouldn't know how when I grew up, we were outdoors all the time. If 6 feet distance was an issue back then, it would have shook my world. I'd be like, what you mean I can't go knock on my friend's door to have them come out, or we can't sit down at the Monopoly board and play Monopoly together. So, right now, what you have to do is you have to bring some balance into your family and reach out to your loved ones right now, because we don't know how they are, reacting to this, you know what I mean? And the more that we can stay in touch, with individuals, if it's just a text message, if it's a call, if it's a Zoom call, if you want to see their face, we can still stay connected. And people don't realize that we still have control over the number one thing, and that's going to be our health. Our health is the number one thing that we need to be in control of right now because there's other things that are out of our control.
Exactly. So true. So it's, it's put a lot of discomfort on a lot of people, this coronavirus. But I'm looking at what you're doing is for the TFT family. You have been very creative with creating activity for us to be able to get out, to practice the 6 feet social distance. We're still practicing that, but we're able to get out and get that activity instead of sitting at home within the four walls, thinking about ourselves, thinking about, oh my God, what if this happens? What if this happens? But you have created something for us to do. So I'm going to let you talk about that, what you have done for the TFT family, creating that 6 feet social distancing.
The social distancing is one thing, so we come up with fit distancing, and what I really created was just a way for us to stay and have some movement. Even if you want to do it individually, you'll still have movement in your life. If you want to come with us and we do it collectively, we pretty much put people 10 feet apart is what we're doing. And, everyone is still able to have some interaction, even though it's at a distance. Again, we're following the rules of what they've told us to do. And we're trying to make sure people will be able to, move and get energy in their lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is really what helps you with your immunity. And right now, you need a strong lymphatic system. That means you need movement. You need movement so your body's natural processes are going through, the cleaning portion. The liver and the kidney are getting more energy to clean the body. So, what I've created is I've created a way that people can, follow us, via social media. They can follow us, via our portal that we've created where, they're exercising with us either in their home, either outside by themselves, or, when the weather's good, sometimes we come together again, and that 10 feet distance is what we're doing and we're working. So, we're trying to make sure that, people aren't shaken to the point that we understand gyms are closed and most people don't have an outlet. They don't have an outlet to sweat, to get some of those toxins out of your body. And, I think that's very important during this time that we're continuing to have that, that movement in our body and not, becoming more in a rigor mortis state. Rigor mortis means that, the sensation of movement has stopped. That means there's death. So if you start to believe in that, then the body starts to, you're right. It starts to reduce that energy that we need to transfer energy into good. You can't destroy energy, but you can take energy and make it good. And we need energy, like I said, to clean the body. We need energy to get up in the morning. I know a lot of people that are working from home, they're sleeping in. No, you need to still get up as if you have somewhere to go, and you need to create more energy into that. I know people that, are getting dressed as if they're going to work because you still want to, control that normalcy. I'm still getting up at 5 a.m. You know what I mean? I may not, leave and come into the lab, but I'm still getting up. I'm still getting up trying to, get my body to say, look, we have something to do. Let's go ahead and create some energy. Let's go ahead and do some positive things because we don't know whose lives that we're helping right now. So, we're trying to do our part, and it's not just me alone. It's the whole TFT family, the TFT nation, has come together. Even with distance, we're still strong like this. So, I appreciate that, that everyone is participating. They're getting other individuals in different states. I've never seen so much, chatter about TFT, since 2015. And it's pretty much at an all-time high right now. And again, it's all about movement. And that's all it is about movement.
Right. My friend Shelly from Kentucky is on the line. So she contacted me the other day about, resistance training. I was talking to her about resistance training. And and I was telling her you created this wonderful product. And Shelly, I know you're out there, Shell Bell. Can you, Dr. Trey, talk about your product and what resistance training is doing? And even right now, because, like you said, gyms are closed. You can't go to your gym as you normally did to get on that treadmill. Can't take the treadmill with you when you travel, but you can take the TFT. So for Shelly's sake, can you really talk about your product that you created and why you created it and what resistance training does for the body, even during this time?
A very good conversation with a lot of my athletes that are working with us right now. And, one came to me and he said, man, you were ahead of the game. which we were. I mean, we started doing this in 2011, actually. 2011, our resistance training, that was in my mindset. I started putting this together. It didn't come to life until about 2015. So, the way that, the gyms have closed, a lot of people, they have attached their fitness, to a gym or to going to a place. And even though we have a place here at the TFT Fit Lab, I've always been a proponent of people having their fitness in their hands, in their health in their hands 24/7. So what we have is a portable resistance product that you can do anywhere, in your home, in your park, off your car. Doesn't mean where you are, you will be able to get some movement, to engage muscles and to get in the best shape of your life. And I'm not saying that we predicted what's going on with Corona, but we did predict if the gyms close, we were ready. We were ready to take on this change. And, our people have not stopped. To be honest with you, we've gotten more active, with the individual challenge. It's not like we have a group challenge, but it's an individual challenge that people are participating in, and they're attacking their health even more than they were on the regular basis than they were coming in here. I'm seeing people, working out, in their living room. I'm seeing them at the park. I'm seeing them, downtown. I'm seeing them doing things that we weren't seeing before. And we have mastered this change. And people are learning not just from our results leaders or just from me, they're learning from each other. And that's the biggest thing that I love, is that we're creating more leaders within what we're doing at TFT. More leaders, again, it's not just like, let's just follow Dr. Trey, let's follow Susie, let's follow Flutie, let's follow Dale, whomever. We got people that are stepping up, and people are watching them, and people are critiquing each other, and people are doing what? They're motivating each other. They're motivating each other to say, look, I got this done. I got this done, and we're creating momentum. I believe we're getting healthier. I believe right now, TFT Nation is getting healthier, and we're helping other individuals that didn't even know about TFT who are joining us now. They're getting better as well.
It's true, because a lot of people that follow me, they have been, in contact with me as well, wonder, what is this product that you're doing? What are you doing? I've been watching you do this. How can I get a product? How can I get that product? So you're right. It is creating a conversation. It's creating a community outside of the TFT family as well.
Right. And to be honest with you, I can't do it alone. I can't be everywhere. And that was never the purpose of TFT, for me to be everywhere. And that's why I've always empowered my results leaders to do more. And they are. And now like I said, we're seeing some people within, that's been doing TFT that aren't even in the state, that are introducing other individuals to it. And again, to me, it's all about movement. It's always been about movement, movement to build the body up and not tear the body down. And that's what people need right now. People need to do more things that are going to build the body up. People know that for 20 plus years, I've been plant-based, I've been vegan, and we've discussed, so many things that they're trying to teach us now about, inflammation in the body and mucus and all these different things that I was trying to prepare my people for as, helping their health. And a lot of people are getting it now. It's very important right now that we control the stressors that we are in control of, which is this right here. You are in control of this. You are in control what you feed this. You are in control what you feed this. And you are in control what you feed your body head to toe, what I mean by, movement. You are in control of that. So right now, align with people that are doing more positive, because there's going to be so many more changes, I believe, are going to come our way that we may not be prepared for. Again, we are learning on the fly. That's the biggest thing you got to understand. It's almost like, if you watch football, there's a field goal right here. And if you set up to kick a field goal, but that field goal was doing this the whole time, it would be hard for you to hit that target.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how we're learning right now. That's where we're learning. The field goal, the field goal is always moving, and you're still being asked to kick it successfully. So what you have to be in control of is what's not moving is your health. Your health is not moving because you're in control of that. You know what I mean? What you consume as content in here, you know, you're in control of that. You know, what you consume right here, what you eat, you are in control of that. So that part of the game has not changed. That's what you're in control of, and that's what you need to focus on and band your family around to understand and say, look, we're going to sit down. What can we do to improve our health during this time? That's very important, especially if you have kids. Hey, Shakira, if you got kids right now, and my mom was a Aunt Deb, you know, growing up, you know, my mom was a single mom of 3, and a lot of my aunties, you know, I mean, they were the matriarchs and the patriarchs in our family. And right now, if you have young kids, you have to make some balance in their lives, because the change, you know, maybe 10 times for you, but it's 100 times for them. It's 100 times for them because they can't understand these times. So it's right now that you have to bring a level of normalcy, you know, into their lives, because again, you know, they're, you know, being taught, you know, from home now. They're doing these Zoom classes. They're doing all these different things. And, you know, I was just hanging out with my brother Dale, and, you know, he's like the teacher of his kids now. And his kids, you know, they're not very happy with that. You know what I mean? And I understand, because he has a full-time job, which he's still working at home. He's teaching the kids, and it's stressful. So if we can do some things to bring a little more balance into their lives, I believe that, you know, we're going to start to do a little bit more. I know, Shakira, you probably out there teaching them kids. I know they hate it.
You know that. Let's talk about nutrition. Yeah, I can't see that either.
I was top 5. My brother top 5. Can you speak to
John.
the versatility? You want me to read that? You want me to read that?
Okay, can you speak to the versatility in regards to being used by any age group, or TFT being used by any age group? There are a lot of elderly individuals whose only physical activity may have been trips to the gym, who are at home now. Great question.
That's a beautiful question.
Great question.
And
Thank you, John.
And thank you. You know, my mom, she's, you know, 60 plus, and you know, she was a nurse, you know, pretty much her whole life or whatever, and working in the hospitals or whatever. And you know, things I've taught her to do is even though she's sit down and control her core, you know, just sitting up halfway and back down, that is an exercise for her. So, you know, I remember, you know, how many years ago did we go out to the actual nursing home? We had people that were 99, you know, and plus doing TFT. Your mom, how old is your mom, Susie?
She's 98.
98. And you taught her how to do resistance activities just by sitting down in her chair, you know, and I understand what John is saying. A lot of people's, you're right, you know, the silver sneakers, you know, that group, that was their chance not only to go out and have activity, that was their chance to socialize. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to start doing a little bit more, you know, virtual outreach to that community. Actually, me and Susie, we just talked about that, because I saw an individual at the post office, and we're going to do some outreach. Right now, my grandfather, my mom's father, is in a nursing facility because he was going to have a hip surgery, and she hasn't been able to see him in about 30 days. They won't let her in. You know, he hasn't been able to leave, and what they're doing right there for him right now is they're doing more of movement with them that is passive movement. They're trying to get his joints to move, so they're putting more force into the body, you know, with him right now. So, you know, my elderly individuals, another thing is, you know, they sit a lot. So we have to, you know, make sure that they're changing what they consume right now, because when you're sitting all the time, your body is not eliminating, you know, the toxins. So, you know, we have to, you know, get them to stand up, to sit down, to walk to their front door and to come back. They have to create those levels of movements in their house because, them going outside right now, with not having all the information, they may be at high risk. So that doesn't mean that they can't sit there and do some chair activities. So I'm going to actually put a video out there of certain activities that our elderly can do at home, with the TFT. And if they don't have the TFT, they can still do it. So I appreciate that challenge. We'll get that out. Yeah, that was a great question. Very great question.
So let's talk about some nutrition, Dr. Trey, while we're at this point. Can you talk about nutrition and things that may provoke mucus, cause mucus, and some things that we can change in our diet to prevent mucus? I mean, can we prevent mucus?
You can. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mucus causing things that we consume. The dairy products. Bread. Anything that breaks down to sugar, even white potatoes. If we eliminate a lot of that, from our diet, our body is able to clean itself a lot faster. What happens with mucus is things get attached to mucus. It's very sticky is what it is. So, you eat things that causes mucus and, you'll start to get things in your nose where it's clogged up. You start to get things in your throat where it's clogged up. And the body doesn't want to produce that. The body doesn't want to produce that. But if you eat it, the body tries to produce it to protect itself. So what we have to do is we have to remove eating those type of items. And it's not about, I'm a plant-based or I'm vegan or I'm vegetarian. There are some vegan items, there are some plant-based items, there are some vegetarian items that cause just as much mucus as any other item. So don't just think that, I'm attacking, the things that we've been, raised to eat, in the normal, instance. There are other things that break down the sugar as well. So the test I tell people to give is this. If you eat something and it tires you out, that means it doesn't give you energy to go do something or to get up. That means you need to stop eating it. And that's your body with its own mechanism telling you what that food is doing to you. So if you get sleepy after you eat something, just stop eating it. If you eat something and you get mucus in your throat and it's hard to swallow, that is a sign. Stop eating it. Doesn't matter if it's plant-based or not plant-based. Again, plant-based items can do the same thing. It depends on the individual. So, and I've learned that over 20 plus years of doing this, and that's how I judge my foods. I pretty much eat the same thing every day. I don't really do a lot of changes, a lot of flexibility. I know what works for me, and if I do try something outside of what I call normal, what I eat, I see how I feel immediately after I eat it. And I think that's without giving all kinds of information, those are the best things you can do. Are you having trouble swallowing? Did you wake up with mucus in your nose? Think about what your last meal was. And only you can answer that. I can't sit there and judge your level of honesty if this is going on in your life. Only you can answer that. I remember when I met Susie a long time ago, speak of some of the things that you changed naturally. This is before, these times we're living in now. And when you change certain things, how it helped you in your life. Go ahead and speak of that if you don't mind.
Okay, so when I met Dr. Trey, I didn't reveal a lot of my health issues to him, but I was having some, digestion problems. I wasn't having, excuse me, I don't want to get too vulgar with it, but I wasn't having regular bowel movements. And when I have a bowel movement, it wasn't like a full bowel movement. And, I just counted it off as something that, this is something I deal with, something I go through life with, because I've been dealing with it for a long time. And didn't realize that what I was eating was causing all these problems. So when I met Dr. Trey, the first thing he said to me, my first consultation, excuse me, give me a second, because my vacuum just went off. One moment.
We got some questions out here. Mark, Mr. Mark, Mr. Short creates, Marshall Shorts, one of the most creative brothers in Columbus. He goes, where can people find different exercises to do TFT? Actually, Marshall, if you go to our Instagram, right up in our link, there's a Bitly link up there, and there's a portal, a free portal, that we've given people a 30-day regimen and plus 2 19-minute videos that shows people, how to use TFT. And we got 5 different levels. We got beginner, we got novice, we got warrior level, we got elite and pro. So we got levels that help every individual. You log in, you get access to everything that we're doing right now with our TFT fam. You got a lot of questions. You want to hit that? I mean, there's a lot out here.
Okay,
A little bit is better than nothing. I appreciate that. Not only physical but social interaction. I appreciate that. Someone said singing. Someone said singing. Someone said something about singing. Oh no, I can't scroll. You had a lot of questions.
It says he is singing healthy bars.
Oh,
Aunt Deb said she's 70s. What Aunt Deb said. She said, I'm 70 years old. Yes, you are, Aunt Deb. Yeah.
My Aunt Deb was coming in here, and I got videos of my Aunt Deb in the lab, and Aunt Deb used to go to work, didn't she? Aunt Deb used to go to work, boy, I tell you, boy. So I appreciate my Aunt Deb. I appreciate her. But go ahead, Susie. Go back to what you were talking about.
Okay. So as I was saying, with my first consultation with Dr. Trey, again, I didn't reveal my health issues. But anyway, one of the conversations that he had with me is talking about bread and dairy. And so I just said, okay, one ear out the other ear, didn't want to hear, because I love bread and I love sweets and I loved, just ice cream. I mean, I used to go to Grater's every Sunday. That was my treat to myself, to get that turtle sundae. That was every Sunday I would do that. And so, after 2 years of being with Dr. Trey, one morning I just woke up and I just said, you know what, I want to try something different. I think I'm going to try, like a baby step, start taking some things out of my diet. Well, it wasn't a baby step. It started to be like, I just jumped all in. I took everything out. I took the bread out. I took the dairy out. So that meant no more trips to Grater's on Sunday. I took all of that out. And I started seeing changes in my body. I started seeing changes not only just in my muscles and definition, but even in my bowel movement. I had it's like 3 every day. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And bread and all that stuff that I was putting into my body was what it was. Not listen to my, because I was going to the doctor for these things too. And they were always, of course, trying to get me to take medication. But even before I met Dr. Trey, I hated to take prescription medicine, any kind of medicine. I hated taking it, and I wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't, just like when I started going through the change of my life, the menopause, I started going through that, and they wanted me to take the estrogen. I refused it. My doctor was just livid. He couldn't believe I wouldn't do it. I said, I'm not doing this, because I read up on it, and I know the side effects of what it could cause me, and I'm not doing this. And so anyway, just listening, not taking the medication to make me have regular bowel movements, I wouldn't do it, because I wasn't, didn't want to cause more damage to my body. You clear this up, but then you're going to cause something else to go wrong in my body. I just decided not to do it. And so I decided to do the food change, and not knowing going in when I decided to do the food change that was going to create me to have regular bowel movements. And it's been longer than that. It's probably 6 years now that I have regular bowel movement. Every time, it's funny. I tell people that when I have a bowel movement, I'm like happy, like yes, cheering, because before many years, I had difficulty, and to go through that, and then to have a bowel movement every day, every single day. Oh yeah, I'm cheering. I'm cheering for myself, clapping for myself, like we did when kids were on a potty, learn to being potty trained. How we clap and cheer for them. I clap and cheer for myself. Yeah.
And that's the key. Is Susie speaking in bowel movements. It's a natural part of our lives, but that is the body saying, whatever you ate, we took whatever we could out of it, but the rest of it is waste. And if you're not having, regular bowel movements that are healthy, then that means the toxins are staying inside of us. And that's what happens when we eat foods that that help us eliminate that take that stress off of that entire system. And it's very important. Like I said, you get lack of life. You get lack of life when you don't have that properly, and that only starts to build up, and then later down the road, years from now, we have these chronic illnesses. But they won't tell you it's because you've been doing something for 30 years. They won't tell you because you've been doing this for whatever. People think that these illnesses come out, overnight right now. It doesn't happen that way. This could have been when you were, 7 years old, you start eating this or you start doing these things that you just never changed. And, without you understanding, like I said, I give you those tips. Does the food make you tired? Does it give you mucus? I mean, you're swallowing, you're getting, in your nose, you're always blowing your nose or whatever it may be. Those are the type of things that you are in control of, and you can make that decision ASAP right now. And again, I'm going to repeat this. It's not about, I promote the plant-based life just because it's worked for me, 100%. But there are certain foods that I would eat that were considered plant-based that gave me mucus, and I stopped eating it immediately, And again, every food is different for every individual. So you just have to figure out, what's going to work out best for you. But, use those oil lights. Like, I tell people, this body has just as many, warning signs that your car does. My car needed an oil change a week ago. A light popped on. You know what I mean? My gas, if it goes low, a light pops on. My tire pressure, what's my tire pressure? A light pops on. Don't you think your body has those type of same signals? Where do you think they learn that from? They learn that from what the body has. We have those signals, but what we do, a lot of us, what we'll do is like if the oil light, turns on, I'm giving you an example, they're putting the tape over that, the light itself and continuing to drive. You can't do that. Because sooner or later, that car is going to break down. The engine's going to break down. The same things happen with our body. We have these warning signs, and the body's been giving you these signs, and it's telling you to make changes. You got to make the changes. You got to make the change. You got to listen to those warning signs, make the changes, because those are going on. I've been a practitioner for over 20 years, and I do not know any of my patients that came to me. I do not know their health better than they know their health, because they're with themselves 24/7, 365. I'm with them for a moment of time, okay? A moment of time. I'm not with them 24/7. I'm not knowing all their habits. I'm not knowing what their bowel movement is. I don't know what their sleeping patterns. I only know what they tell me, but they are living with this. So who is the best doctor for you? It's you. You are the best doctor for you. All right? Yeah. Most doctors won't say that. They won't say that. They won't give you that information. But that's the way I've been practicing my whole life. I teach people how to be healthy in spite of me, not because of me. Because one day I won't exist in your life. I won't exist in your life. And that's even what TFT is about. I teach people how to be active in spite of me, not because of me. You know what I mean? One day I'm not going to be here. So if I didn't teach you something to better your health on your own, I did you a disservice. I did you a disservice.
Go ahead. So I'm sorry. April just put a question up talking about the upcoming vaccine, to prevent or to guard against the coronavirus. We already know how you feel about vaccines, but go ahead and share your thoughts. For those who are new to the audience and hasn't heard you talk about vaccines, but go ahead and talk about that, Dr. Trey.
You know what? I'm going to give you the facts. Okay, I'm not going to give you my opinion, but I'll give you the facts. If you want my opinion, send me a DM, but I will give you the facts. The facts is, vaccinations, they came about back in the day when we didn't have, a system. People were defecating or, using the bathroom in the streets, okay? So we lived in environments that weren't very clean. Okay, and it was uncontrollable at that time because we didn't have a sewage system. There was no sewage system, going on in our communities, and people were just, urinating in the streets. They were defecating in the streets. I mean, they were having bowel movements out there, and people were just pretty much living in that environment, tracking it everywhere, in the house, on their shoes, maybe sitting in it. And, vaccines came about because they were trying to rid that. In my opinion, humble opinion, you have the best immunity, when you take care, of your body, everyone has streptococcus, in their throat right now, and that's, a strand that can cause strep throat. But none of us really have strep throat because we have a strong enough immune system, to fight that. And that's, where I believe health is going. I've never had the flu shot before. I have a strong enough immunity to fight when it's flu season. And I have not done enough research to know, what this strand of coronavirus is doing. But I am, steadily, reading and understanding and trying to figure this out to better myself so my immunity continues to raise its level up. Again, that's why they're talking about, like, even my grandfather, who's in the nursing home, and they're now letting people in to see them. I mean, Susie, you had a sister that was, you couldn't visit her, because of, their immune system is down, and it attacks them because they don't have the immunity that we may have as young individuals. That doesn't mean that we are immune from getting it, but we will have the immunity to fight it. There's a difference. I'm not saying that you can't get something, but you will have the immunity to fight it, and that's the key. Now, when they're talking about how it's transmitted and how it can be, transmitted quickly, that's what I'm trying to understand more about. You know what I mean? Is the breathing, is it sneezing, is the coughing, is it touching things? There's so many different factors that I feel that they haven't pinpointed enough for me to make an educated decision to say, what's my stance on that, okay? So, what I do have a good stance on is the way that we build our immunity up, so therefore, whatever we come in contact with, we have a way for the body to clean itself, to rid itself. And I think that is what we need to focus on more, versus, what they're trying to do for, the nations, the world, as a whole. So, as they continue to give us more information, what you are in control of right now is your immunity, your stress. Your stress levels have to be down. And I know this, I know it's difficult for a lot of individuals, especially during times of change. You have to be in control of your stress, physical, chemical, and mental. Physical, chemical, and mental. I'm going to say it again. Physical, chemical, and mental. You are in control of that. So that's where our immunity comes from. So I'll give you that. I have so many more things that I would say about this. Is just so new, and I don't want to misspeak before I have all the information or what I think can better us collectively. All I can speak about is what you can do individually right now. And what you can do individually right now is to minimize the stressors. You can't be eating the stress. You can't be, eating the cakes and the sugars and milkshakes and all the comfort foods. You can't do that right now. I mean, I don't believe you should have been doing it before, but right now it's very important that you're not doing those things because, you're adding a stress to the body that the body just doesn't need. We're already under a lot of mental bombardment because the information is changing all the time. So anything that we consume in our ears and we see with our eyes, those are certain stressors that sometimes if you're going to continue to look at those things, you're giving that control elsewhere. So that's a heavy stress. And then a lot of us are being sedentary right now. I mean, we're sitting down, we're watching Netflix more, we're not, getting up and doing some level of activity. So now you got two stressors that are beating you down. And now you're going to eat stress too. That now, you're trying to get up a mountain, which we all have to climb, and you're putting, 100-pound bricks in that book bag and say, I still got to climb this mountain. You're doing too much work is what you're doing. So you got to eliminate some of those, and you're in control of that. No one is putting a gun to our head to say, do this or don't do that, blah, 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 blah. And, what you eat is what you are in control of, and you'll get the results by, feeling better, having more energy. If you come in contact with something, you want to have enough energy, enough immunity for this body to say, hey, I'm going to fight it. I'm in this fight with you. Versus saying, I'm going to succumb to what you just came in contact with. And I believe that's where we need to focus most of our energy on.
That's true. That's very good. Because you're right. Because with all this information, we're being bombarded, like you said, every day. Every time you turn the TV on, the first thing they talk. That's all that's on TV anymore. It's talking about the coronavirus. So, and it's causing, like you said, more and more stress, more and more discomfort within our bodies, and then our bodies is taking this all in. And you get a symptom in your throat, like you get a sore, like a little scratchy throat, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, who was I around?" You start thinking about taking all the stress, thinking that that you may even have coronavirus because you got a little scratchy throat, or your nose is running, or you sneezing, or you may be coughing. So I know you've already talked about stress, but can you talk about the things that we do to add more stress into our life? Like you said, like watching the news and believing that we've got something, and like you said before too, believing that you got something that you can't succumb to. Your body can create the fact that you do have something because you believe it. So can you talk about that?
Well, I would say right now is a lot of people and I'm still doing a few adjustments here and there. It's people's sleeping patterns. They're changing. People are staying up late. Later than normal. And when you're staying up late, you're not giving your body enough time to recover. You know what I mean? That is a huge stress. Even before these times, if your sleep is off, then your whole body elimination process, is going to be off. And I know some people say, well, I'm sleeping in though, but that's not the regular, sleeping pattern that your body has been accustomed to. Your body is used to, getting up at, 6 o'clock and maybe getting kids ready and doing certain things. Now certain people are, staying up later, 2, 3 in the morning, and then they're sleeping and trying to wake up, 8, 9 o'clock or whatever. But your body is feeling certain stressors because you staying up later means you're doing what? Probably continuing to eat. Probably continuing to eat or snack or put something into your mouth. So now when you're doing that, you're sleeping with toxins in your body. So now your body hasn't had a chance to eliminate, and that whole evening, when your liver and your kidney is supposed to just be cleaning the body. Now your digestive system is trying to do things. You know what I mean? So now you thought you were asleep, but actually the body was working. And you continue to do this for a long time, that's where chronic situations come out. But it starts during times like this. It starts during times where we're not being active, when we are staying up late, when you are continuing to snack or, eat, improper foods. That are the stressors that we need to control. You have to control those things, and that's why we're continuing to put movement into the body. We're continuing to be active. We're continuing to, put things out that are productive, on our social interactions, because that's how we're helping individuals. And in the long run, to be honest with you, I'm helping myself. There was times where, I would, even before this, I'm going to bed as an entrepreneur and I'm not really sleeping properly. And I'm waking up and I'm trying to be everything to all individuals. And I wasn't, putting back enough to myself. And this time, right now, during these times, I'm trying to master this change, and I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better as much as I can do, and only reason why I'm doing that is because my team is helping me. We got a great team, we got a great family, and they're my support system right now. We have a great support system, and I believe that's what's going to get us through. Is our support system will get us through.
Very good. This has been very good, Dr. Trey, as usual. You have been, you dropped some mighty, powerful gems here today. Appreciate everybody being out there. I mean, Marshall and John, little John, out there joining us today. It's been great. And so, any closing comments that you want to give to our people before we sign off?
And right now, like I said, is that this is not. People think that this has never happened before, but there was times in the past where, wearing masks were mandatory. I think it was during the Spanish flu time. And, it was about 100 years ago or something like that. And what they're doing that for is for precautions. You know what I mean? They're getting information that they need to dispense to us, and they're learning on the fly. they're learning on the fly. You know what I mean? And what you have to do right now is, take your precautions serious, because, we don't know. I mean, no one knows, I don't believe. We don't know, where this is going to lead. I think, it may get, a little worse before it gets better. But that's how all things happen with change. It gets a little bit more uncomfortable. And what you have to do is continue to do things that you're in control of. Again, your stressors, you're in control of those. Reach out to people that help you think more positive than negative. Right now you have to surround yourself with people and positivity, because I think there's going to be a lot more changes that's going to happen, right now versus then later.
Yeah, that's good. Well, anyway, this has been so amazing, so awesome. I don't think we have any more questions out there, but it's been so good.
We might have missed a few. Okay. I don't know how to scan up and down all these things, but there was a lot. But this was a great talk. And SUSIETV, even before, these times, you have really been driving home, conversations, you know what I mean? SUSIETV is like the most, perfect, outlet of just a conversation, and not just saying that, all-knowing experts, but more of, involving your community. And I see that. I see how you involve the community to get the right topics. After these conversations I have with you, I get so many DMs that I send to you, and you decipher everything to make your next subject even better. So I appreciate the work that you're doing, and I appreciate that your commitment, even during this time, to come back live. I think people were missing you.
Yeah. Well, I missed everybody too. I love this platform. So I just thank everybody for joining in, tuning in today. If I didn't call your name, if I didn't see you, I do appreciate you being out there with me today, being with us today. It's been amazing. So I want you to go and live your best life. I'm reading this book. It's called If You Had 30 Days to Live, it's 1 month to live, what would you do with your life? 30 days to a no regret life. And this book has been really, really good. And so I just want you to go think about that. If you had 30 days to live, what would you do with your life to live a no regrets life? Would you just sit at home and do nothing? Would you get outside and go visit somebody next door who may not have anybody to go visit them? Is there something that you can do to make your life be more fulfilled, and instead of just thinking about yourself every single day? Get outside. Go enjoy yourself. Go just a walk. During this time, you may not be able to go visit somebody, but you can get outside. Just walk around the block. Get your mind off of yourself. Get your mind off of what's going on wrong with you. And to think more about what's going right with you, because there's more right with you than it is wrong with you. So I want you to think about that. Think about what would you do if you had 30 days to live. If you were given a diagnosis that you only had 30 days, what would you do with your life? Would you just sit around and just complain? Would you sit around and just think about all the people that did you wrong, instead of thinking about what you did to people, and go make those relationships right? Think about that. Think about that, and then go, because that's a great way to be healthy too. To release those negative toxins, bring in some positive toxins, and your body is going to heal itself. It will start to heal itself if you think about more positive than you do negative. Change your thinking, change your thoughts, change you. Don't try to change somebody else. Change yourself. Change you. Because the person next to you may be fine. You're looking at them thinking that something's wrong with them. They're fine, but you got all these. It's one scripture that I love. I'm going to bring the Bible in for a second. It talks about somebody having a speck in their, you're looking at somebody who has a speck in their eye, and you're walking around with this big plank hanging out of your eye. You can't see your plank for looking at the speck in somebody else's eye. Think about yourself. Take care of you. Take care of you. You are so important. Love on yourself. Love on you, because you are so important, and the world needs you. The world needs you to be here in full and in healthiness. It needs you to be here full and healthy. I'm telling you today. Didn't mean to go off on that, but this book it's been a life changer for me, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it, and I'm loving life the way that I want to live my life. I'm loving life the way I live my life. So I'm not trying to live life for somebody else. I'm living life for me. I'm being the best me. I'm being the best version of me, and I'm loving it. I'm loving things that's changing for SUSIETV, for my business, for my business. I'm loving life because my business has been Oh my God, I can't really tell you everything that's going on right now, but I'm just so excited about what's going on with Susie Turner. This Susie Turner, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I want you to go and love yourself too. Love you to the fullest and be the best version of you today. Start today. Start today.
Shot the J. Shot it. Shot it, y'all.
All right. So you guys go. Make it a great Saturday. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll be back again soon. You know, who knows? I may bring John on. Top 5 photo. Top 5 photo. You ready?
Top 5. Oh,
Top 5. Yay.
Get Mr. Marshall Short.
Yes,
come on
Marshall
now.
Short.
You know,
ready, Marshall?
Hey, you know Marshall gonna come in and start here sweep some home runs.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you both a DM. I'm gonna send you both a DM today and get you on the show. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Have a great Saturday. We'll talk with you soon. Bye bye. Thank you, Dr. Trey.
Bye bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye.